Hi everyone, Jen Dubell here for Graphic 45 with you today. And today I am going to decorate an album that I have made by hand using the beautiful Twas the Night Before Christmas papers. These were recently re-released in a deluxe collector's edition, which comes with your 2 sheets of stickers as well as the chipboards, which I have already punched out so I can use them. And I want to go over how I constructed my album. I do have a picture tutorial using instructions and pictures, but I'm going to just do video. For the video, I'm just going to do the decorating and show you the pieces that I have used rather than doing that in pictures. So what we have that I'm going to use is the stickers. This is going to show you how to use an entire collection. Now, this does not was not released with the Patterns and Solids or the ephemera stamps and journaling cards that normally come with collections now, because it is a re-release. But I do have some of the original 6x6 of this collection, which was Patterns and Solids, that I'll be using. But you can definitely use other parts of the collection to substitute for those where I use them, or you can use solid cardstock. Or another Patterns and Solids from your collections that you may have left over from other Christmas collections that coincide with these colors. So let's get started. I first want to show you, like I said, everything that I use. So now that I've done that, I'm going to show you. I did use parts of the 12x12 as well as parts of the 8x8. And as I go, I will show you those. I did do a little fussy cutting from the 12x12 Happy Holiday paper, and what I've fussy cut there is some of the holly and berries that I will be using on the album, on the cover mostly. And I also used Kraft cardstock, regular chipboard, and I used some red, green, and some heavyweight ivory cardstocks. So let me just show you really quick how I created the album itself. So this is going to be a 6-inch wide by 8-inch tall album, and it has a 2.5-inch spine. And I've done this in what is called the lay flat method, which was done by Tamara Merrill. It's very, very simple, and it makes for a nice, crisp, clean, do-it-yourself album. So for that, you will need 2 6x8 pieces and a 2.5x8 piece of the regular chipboard. And then for the Kraft cardstock, I've just used some from my stash. And how this album was constructed was with a spine page system. I do have a picture for that showing you how I made that. There are many, many tutorials out there for this. And it has 1/2 inch, excuse me, are those 1/2 inch? I'm not quite sure if I did 1/2 inch on this. No, I did 3/8 inch on my, in between my pages. And for this, we have 2 pages that are pocket pages. And I also show how to make those. So for the pages themselves, they are the 5 3/4 by 7 3/4 to house in this 6x8 album. And this first page system here has 2 extra flaps, so when this opens, we will have 2 extra flaps for that, and these will have magnet closures. Then that next one there is your first pocket page. We have a regular page, the second pocket page, and a regular page. And then we will also have some pockets using the cut-aparts, which are a great substitution for your journaling cards that if you don't have the old stash, there are these options with the cut-aparts on the Up on the Housetops as well as Long Winter's Nap, and you can cut these apart and use them. You can mount them on paper or leave them with a backside to make some photo mats or inserts. I like to use them for pockets as well. So let's dive into the decorating of this album, and we will do it from the inside out. I like to decorate my outside last. And we're going to start out with, I'm going to show you how I put my things together. So when I design an album, the first thing I do is I go through page by page. I like to assemble my album, if possible, first with the pages, so I have everything out. And then I can go page by page and I can cut out my pieces, and then I have them in an organized manner so that I can just go on and I can decorate the album and have it done in one swoop on a nice, quick, clean video for you. So I have cut out my linings for the inside, as well as pockets and some inserts for those pockets. This will be my cover at the start, and as well as the back and the spine. And these are our inserts for the pocket pages, which are photo mats with tabs. And I have used the We Are Memory Keepers, this tab punch board. If you don't have this, you can utilize a die if you have a die that does this, or you can just simply cut some notches in this so that they stick out from those pocket pages. But I did use this We Are Memory Keepers punch board. So how I like to organize is I have all those pieces. This is all my outer pieces and some of my inserts. And then I have a page system. When I go through, I decorate the pages without gluing them down. I get everything cut out, everything inked if I'm going to ink it, which I have inked all of the pattern papers here in Vintage Photo Distress ink. And then I just put them in envelopes. So I have page 1 here, page 2, 3 are a set. The way they open, that is the one with the flaps. So I have those all together. I have my page 4, 5, 6, if I can get them apart, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And that way I can just grab these. These are all ready to go. I just tell you the measurements and we're good to go. So we're going to start with the linings. And for that, I'm going to just go ahead and grab a clip from my clip bin over here so that I can clip this down and it's out of our way. And we're going to start here on this front panel. And for that, I have a fun little system going. So what I used is red cardstock for my base. And that red cardstock, like I said, it's from my stash. If you have a old stash of this Patterns and Solids in the 6x6 like I do, you can do a double page, or you can use, like I'm doing, red cardstock from your stash. So this is going to be a 5 7/8 by 7 7/8 piece, and that will go down here. And then I have, like I said, those 6x6 Patterns and Solids from when this first came out. And I've chosen this green polka dot. There are papers in the regular collection that will mimic this. There's a stripe that's really nice, as well as a couple others. Okay, so that 6x6 was cut down. I left it at 6 long or tall, but I cut that down to 5 3/4. So that gives us a little bit of space all the way around. And this will sit right here. Okay. And then next, what I have done, let me set aside some of these. This is our inserts. I have taken some of those cut aparts and I've cut them down so that they measure, just cut all the borders off, and that will make them that 5, it's 5 3/4 by 3 3/4 is what they end up being. And then we have some red cardstock, the same red cardstock I'm using for the linings. That was cut at 4 3/8 by 6 7/8. And then it is scored at 1/2 inch down both sides and across the bottom. And then those corners were mitered before folding. And this just makes a nice tight pocket. So we're going to take our pocket and one of our fun cards that we've cut from the cut-aparts, and I am just going to ink this up. This is the one piece I didn't get inked. Here's my cut-aparts. I have all of the other pages pre-inked for the video. Just going to put that ink all the way around there, and I am going to glue this down onto my pocket. I find it easier to adhere the decor on the decorative paper onto the pocket before adhering the pocket. It just makes it a little bit easier. But you can put it on after the pocket is applied as well. So make sure you're at the top here, and then we're just going to, this is not going to have a lot of that red paper showing on the sides. It'll have a little more on the top and bottom, just because of the way these had to be cut. And once you have that lined up, I'm just going to grab a cloth here and make sure I have no excess glue. And then I like to take this larger smoothing tool from your memory keepers. You can also use a bone folder and smooth that out. And then, as you can see, you have your little tabs on the back, and that is going to become our pocket right here. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to adhere these, and the front as well as the back, and I will be right back to start the pages. All right, so now I have those adhered for you. I didn't want to bother by showing you all the gluing. It's just a lot. So as far as the pockets go, when you adhere these, if you cut them out the way that I explained as far as the measurements, if you line them up with your red lining underneath your mat here on the bottom and the sides, this will look just streamlined like mine here. Okay, so I put that one there, and then on our back page we have the same, so they mimic. All right, so now I'm going to go ahead and show you how I make the inserts for this. Super simple. What I've done is taken 2 pieces of 100-pound ivory cardstock because I wanted some thickness. And these are going to measure 5 1/4 by 7. And I have 2 of these. And I would like to round my corners. I like having round corners. So I'm going to take my 7mm on my punch here. You can use any corner rounder for this in any size that you like. And I'm just going to round all these corners. Get rid of all those little bits. And then a simple way to embellish photo mats is your border strips. I've gone over border strips before in the past, and they are just great tools to add just a little something. So I'm going to ink these up, and we're going to do one on each side. I'm going to do this border with the where it says Toys. And I've cut a few different, these are meant to be done single, but I like to cut them a little wider and have a little variety. So I have several on the same strip. I'm just going to ink them all up, and I will show you the one I'm going to use on the back side. And you can use any of the strips you want. You could use stickers to embellish these. There is a border strips that come with the stickers. You can embellish your inserts any way you like. You could make bifold inserts rather than just photo mats, as I'm doing. Anything that works for you and what you're giving. If you're giving this as a gift, if you want to make a pocket card, say for a little hidden gift card or something inside, you can do that as well. So for these, I'm just going to simply put these strips on the top. And this will stick out of my pocket, so you'll still see that little bit of pattern. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue these down. Go right up to where that top of that rounded spot goes, because I don't want this to be crooked, but I also don't want it to cover too much. And this could be used for a photo mat. All right, moving along, we are going to add our page embellishments now. And the way I'm going to do this, I'm just going to go along. I will try to let you know the exact name of the paper that I'm using from the collection. I may not have written some of them down, so bear with me if I have to look. But I wanted to show you first how these look in the pockets. These are the completed inserts, and those just slide right in the pocket. So this first page is fairly simple. This is going to be our page 1. I'm just going to pull all this out. And what I've done here, I will tell you, I have it all written down so I don't forget anything. So this is going to be 5 5/8 by 7 5/8 of the side A of Holiday from the 8 by 8, and that's going to be our base. So I'm going to put that down. And then I've taken a piece of red. Now I did use the red from my original 6 by 6, but this can be substituted for red cardstock. You just won't have the polka dots on the back. And this piece is going to measure 4 5/8, and it is 6 inches tall, and I have scored it 1/2 inch on that right side. This is one of the border strips that I've applied, one of the smaller cut aparts, and then I've inserted 2 more smaller cut aparts that will go in the pocket. So I'll take those off while I adhere this. I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this on camera so that you can see how this is done. So we want to put this down first. So you just want to figure out where you want this exactly, because I want this underneath, and I'm going to put it right about there. So I am going to grab my white pencil, which is what I love to use because I can erase it fairly easy. So we're going to put this here, and I'm just going to make a tick mark here and a tick mark here, and that is not showing up very well. I don't think I got the right pencil. So we're going to do our tick mark at the top and our tick mark at the bottom, and then when I remove this I can see those little tiny white tick marks. And I'm going to go ahead and add some glue to that 1/2 inch scored flap. The idea is to hide this flap underneath. And then I'm going to turn my book this way so that I can actually see those tick marks, and I can get this on nice and straight. All right, so we're right about here. And we just want to make sure this doesn't overhang the edge, because when we put our paper on, we want to make sure that we can open and close this little flip flap, as I'm calling it. So I'm just going to run a bone folder down that on the inside and the out. Get a little extra glue here. I'm just going to wipe off, and then we'll apply our the 5 5/8 by 7 5/8 piece of the Holiday. And like I said before, I have already inked all of these papers using the Distress Vintage Photo. Goes very well with this paper collection. You could also do it in red or green or something more festive if you prefer. And I'm just going to put this down, leaving a little bit of that space, that Kraft page showing all around. Get that on there as straight and lined up as possible. And now, as you can see, that hides our little flap here. And yet we still can close easily. So that is our first page. Easy peasy. The next set of pages is page 2, 3, and these are our flat pages. So how I created these is our normal pages, one being, the second one is our pocket page here. And this was a regular page. So I've put those on, and then what I did was I took 2 sheets of the Kraft paper, and those measure 4 inches by our 7 3/4 inches, and I scored those at 1/2 inch on each side so that I could put those on and just applied them to the edges of the paper right up to the edge. Okay, so I've also I did miter the corners a bit of those. I can hold this up a little bit so it's easier to see. Just that way you can get your paper down a little bit easier. Now what's going to go here, I'm just going to show you, and then I'm going to go ahead and adhere it and show it to you done. And I will let you know what we have here. So here is our page 2 and 3, papers and inserts. This is our inserts, which I have not completely put together yet. Make sure I got everything out of those. I did. So what we have here is the paper with the Santas here. There's going to be 2 of these that measure 4 inches by that 7 3/4. These will go in like so. And we have another one, and I have these cut so that they line up. So I cut them from the same 12 by 12 paper. This is from the 12 by 12. And when you line these up, as you can see, it's cut from the same so that they line up nicely. Okay, so those will go there. And then we will have 2 pockets. These are the B side of that same 12 by 12 paper, which is the bundle of toys is what we have here. And these are 4 inches wide by 7 5/8. These pocket ones are 2.5 by 7 5/8. Okay. And what we want to do is we want to put these down first. I'm going to go ahead and do this one on camera as well, just because this page is a little bit more extensive on how we're doing this. And I need to line up for my magnets too. So I need to show you that as well. We're going to have our magnets go here. So I'm going to grab 1 set, which is 2 of the basic gray magnets. I'm going to grab a plus, and I'm going to grab a minus. And what we want to do, firstly, is you want to figure out on this page where we want this to go. So I'm going to have this on the door on the underside. So I'm first going to take the sticky off of one of my magnets. It's not the easiest to do. Sometimes I just put score tape on there because these little buggers can be hard to remove. So I know I want this right pretty much in the middle of my page, and I want it in far enough that I can cover it with my paper. So that's how we're going to do that. And then we want to put this one here on top of it. So your second magnet, your plus, peel your backing off, okay? And then go ahead and fold that door closed. Push down a little bit, and that will leave your magnet where you want it to go. That's the easiest way that I have found to do magnets. And then I did that one first, and I should have done it last. We're going to go ahead and glue this piece on so I can show you. Okay, so this goes in here. Don't put it all the way up to, just up to that scored page line. You don't want it to overlap or your page won't turn. And I like to pick them up a little so that I can see the top of the page as well as the bottom when I'm lining it up, so I can get it as even as possible as far as how much of my craft is showing on the top and on the bottom. I want them to be equal if I can do that. So then we're just going to take a bone folder and really burnish that. Make sure you burnish all around that magnet, but don't go too crazy. You don't want to poke that magnet through the paper. So just get that nice and burnished, and as you can see, that's going to close nicely on there. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on this side, plus and a minus. Grabbed a plus and a plus. That doesn't work. All right. Go ahead and put this in the middle of my page. About there. Okay. And then we want to put our plus on there, peel off our backing, and close that up. And then you have your magnets where they belong. It's like I said, it is the simplest way to do your magnets. And you can always add another little strip of score tape. I've seen some creators do that, where they add score tape over the top of it just to make sure your magnet does not have a chance to move around. I have not had that problem, so I have not done that. But it is definitely an option. And then I just kind of want to eyeball where my other one on this side is as far as the top and the bottom. And go ahead and press that down. Again, burnishing over that magnet nicely. Getting rid of any excess glue that spews out, which is a common issue. All right, now we can add our pockets, now that we have our magnets in place. So for the pocket, like I said, it is the flip side of the 12-inch collection of this same paper, which is the bundle of toys, and these will measure 2.5 by 7 5/8. Yes. And I am going to add glue. Now this is going to go this way, okay? So we want to add our glue down the side, across the bottom, and down the side, okay? Just like this. And then we will adhere that. And yes, it will overlap your paper a little bit, and that is okay. Just as long as it doesn't overlap that score line on the side there. Get the excess glue out of there. All right, and now you have this nice little pocket. Next, we will do our next strip, and I want to see here how I cut this one. So we have this side and this side, okay? These, again, are the 12 by 12 side A of bundle of toys, and these ones measure 3 3/8 by 7 5/8. And we're going to put this on. This is the inside of the flap. And when this all is put together, you'll see how this comes together nicely and cohesively with the patterns. Again, line that up as well as you can with the top and bottom of the last piece that you did. This is a good way to ensure a nice even flow of your paper. And I'm just going to burnish really well around that magnet. And there you have that. And the last one is going to be this plaid here, which comes from the B side of the 12 by 12 holiday. And we're going to put that here. And we will probably embellish this a little bit more going forward. I also have some card inserts that will go inside that I will have with the finished album walkthrough. So we're just going to go ahead and place that. I like to make sure it's the right upright. And again, I am eyeballing where my paper lines up as well as I can. And that's a little off, so I'm going to go up just a little higher. All right. I'm going to go ahead and finish this off camera. All right, so now as you can see, those are all decorated. We have our 2 pockets, and you can also take a bone folder and just run inside there. What I'm going to end up doing rather than putting the cards in here is I'm just going to put some photo mats. Right now I have a red and a green piece of paper that are in here, and these ones that I have that are fitting well are 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. So next we're going to move on to page 4, and that is a pocket page. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this all the way out so that we don't have that extra bulk in the way. I'm going to grab page 4. Page 4 is a quick but fun one. So this one is going to have a few little embellishments. I did use a die from my stash that was like a wood grain rectangle stacking die set that you can do any square. You can make a frame any way you want, or embellish this page in another way if you like. For this page here, I believe this is the Merry Mistletoe, and it is from the 8x8 side A of Merry Mistletoe. Let me just double check that. Don't want to steer you wrong. Just look through my... Yes, Merry Mistletoe. Okay, so that's going to be our base. That will lay here. All right, and then we're going to have that fun little frame on there for mine. And I'm also going to put the insert of the frame that I cut out of a white paper. And then I just have a fun couple of the cut aparts and stamps for one of the border strips that I'm going to line up just like so. And I will tell you, I use, I will show you what they are. Many people have these in their stash, mini pinking shears. They do really well for cutting the outer edges of these stamps so that you can keep the integrity of that stamp look, and I really like that. So that's going to be that page. Again, we have our 5 5/8, 7 5/8, and for the base. And then our page 5, I'll go ahead and grab that one, and then I'm going to go ahead and adhere those off camera. We have this piece, the 5 5/8 by 7 5/8, is the Jolly Old Elf, and it is from the 8-inch side A, so it's the other side of the clocks here. That's going to go here, and then I've taken another strip of the leftover of the Merry Mistletoe, and that's going to go down this side as a pocket, like we did on the last one here. And then I have a couple fun little, I took some green paper, and I made these fun little cards, flip up card inserts using some of the cut aparts, and those will be housed inside the pocket like so. Okay, so now you can see that that spread is done. I'm going to go ahead and close this so that's not confusing. So now we have our pages 4 and 5, and this is a fun little frame. I will tell you, I only adhered the tag here on the bottom, across the bottom, and then placed these on top. And the reason for that is so that you can take a picture and you can have a place for it to tuck for this page here. And again, these fun little cut aparts, I just took some green cardstock that measures 4 1/4 by 5 7/8, and then I folded it in half to fit these with a nice little about a 1/4 inch space all the way around. And those are the cut aparts from let me see, they're going to be from the 8-inch up on the house top. Yes, up on the house tops. All right, so let's move on to page 6 and 7. Our page 6 is another fairly simple page. I'm going to be using this striped paper here, which is from the 8x8 Twas the Night Before Christmas, which is the first page paper in the collection. And then it's going to have this fun little 8-inch from the, look again here, I apologize. I had these all written down. And it is the side B of the 8-inch Jolly Old Elf. And that little pocket is going to measure 2 3/8. Usually I do 2 1/2 by 7 5/8. And that will have this fun little photo mat tucked inside. And this is just a piece of the Kraft cardstock used for the album that measures 5 1/4 by 7, and then the red is 5 by 6 3/4, and then all those corners were rounded using my corner rounder, so that'll be on there. And then our page 7 is also the same setup with different papers. So we will have are the border paper from the 8-inch. And that is called Ho Ho Ho. And then we have the flip side of that for our pocket. And again, the same type of photo mat as this one. So I'm going to go ahead and put these together, and I will be back to show you when it's finished. Okay, there is our page 5 and 6 with our inserts. Again, the pocket portions were only glued across 3 sides. So you want to glue it opposite of the opening, the top, down the side, and the bottom. Top, down the side, and the bottom. Okay, so now we're going to move on to page 8. Page 8 is another fun one. It has a little flip up element. And this uses the 12 by 12 side B of Twas the Night Before Christmas. And I'm also going to have this portion of the, this is the 12 by 12. I need to double check so I don't steer you wrong. Of Bundle of Toys. I don't know why I forget that one every time. And this piece was cut, this is our normal. And then this little flap that's going to flip up is 4 inches by 8 inches, and it was scored at the 1/2 inch across the top. Just run some glue on that 1/2 inch flap. And then we just want to make sure we're not overlapping. Okay. Again, make sure you don't go too close to that inner score line or your page will not turn. So we want to make sure that our page still turns good before we burnish our paper down. I have torn apart many a books because I did not realize that I had overshot my spot. So now we have this here, and like I said, I will find a different way to close this. Right now I'm just going to burnish it down, and it'll hold its weight pretty well. So then on to page 9. Page 9 is very similar to this page here. In fact, it's exactly the same type of page. It's going to have the reverse, which is the white portion of that frame with the green in the middle. And we will be using, from the 12 by 12, the plaid here, which is the Happy Holiday. And it's the B side of 12 by 12. So that's going to go here. And then we will have our frame here and our fun little cut aparts again, like we did on the other page. This one's a little different because it has the writing. So I will probably do this a little bit differently, probably something like so. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere that, show you that I got that all done, and then we'll move on to page 10. All right, so there's that spread. So we have this fun little flip up here, and like I said, I probably will add some more to that. And then we have our same little situation going on with our frame and some spots to tuck picture using some of the cut aparts. So next we have our page 10 and 11, almost done. So page 10, fairly simple, and 11 both. They are mimicking mirrored image pages. And let's just put these on like so, and I will show you. Again with our 5 5/8 by 7 5/8, and we are using the B side of, it is not this one, it is the other. Let me just grab one so I can give you the right name. This is Long Winter's Nap, and it is the B side. So it's our cut aparts, but on the B side with all the lettering. And that beige background. That will go here. And then we have our Merry Mistletoe. This is the Holly Day paper. And this is from the 8-inch. And that's going to be our pocket. And then this is going to mirror And we will have photo mats just like the last page with the pocket. So this is done exactly like the other one with the pockets that we did here. So we're going to adhere this exactly the same and put that together and put those photo mats together. And then our final page, which is page 12, is going to mimic page 1. So it's done exactly the same way that we did page 1. The exception is the background paper, which is the B side of Merry Mistletoe is our 5 5/8 by 7 5/8 inch background. And again, the same with the red paper that, again, I will tell you the measurements. Those are 4 5/8 by 6, and it is scored on the left side for this one at 1/2 inch, and this will tuck underneath. Okay? Okay, so now we have our page 10 and 11 with our side pockets and our fun photo mat inserts with the Kraft and red paper. And our page 12, which again is a mirrored image of our page 1 with the fun fold out page here, little pocket using the cut aparts and border strip. And I just want to go through this real quick with you one more time before I embellish the rest of it. So we have our front pocket here with our red mat and this green paper. Again, I will tell you that I used the paper from the original 6x6 collection. If you don't have that, there's plenty of different papers that you could substitute from the collection to use here. This is one of the cut aparts. Put on a pocket using red cardstock, and then we have our photo mat with a border strip on each side. That first page with the flip out and the little pocket, a couple little inserts here. Our second page system, page 2 and 3, has a magnetic flap out system and spots for, as you can see when you take this off, we have this whole cohesive spread. And then I'm just using these to show you that you can put photos in here, or you could put a decent 5x7 photo or 2 4x6s on here as well. We also have this page here. Page number 4 is our frame that I did use a die cut for, but you can cut a triangle or just cut paper and layer it. And I have done that with green and ivory paper. And I have some of the fun little cut aparts used here with some of the stamps used, and I have glued those just around the corners so that you can insert the picture there. Here we have our another side pocket system, and we have 2 bifolds using those cut aparts again. Let it slide in here. Another pocket page system with photo mats, and you can see how those are nicely cohesive. And get these all the way in there snugly so that it closes. This here we have a flip up, and again I will be embellishing this a little bit better, and we'll follow up with a video of my completed album, including the cover, spine, and back, as well as any additional embellishments that I do. That will be a separate video. Here we have another one of the page systems that has the frame in the background and our little cut aparts here that are glued down in a way that you could still slide a photo in there. And then our page 10 and 11, another side pocket system. And we have those fun photo mats that slide right in there. And finally, page 12 is a mirrored image of page 1. And then we have our last page, which is a mirrored image of the front inside cover, again with the border strip on either side of our photo mat. So that is my album, and like I said, I will be doing a separate video that is a walkthrough once I finish embellishing this and doing the decorating of the cover. I will also have a list on a frame in this video that tells you the exact papers again that I used for my pages and which ones. You can mix those and match them any way you like, but I will let you know exactly what I used again in a instructional format rather than just the video. So happy paper crafting and have a wonderful, wonderful day. Okay, so that was my album in its entirety. Now I just want to show you really quick, now that I have all of the decorating done of the cover and the spine and the back, as well as adding a few more little inserts and some sticker and chipboard embellishments. I just want to run through the album with you. So this is it completed, and we have, what I've done here is I've added for the cover a piece of wrapped chipboard. I do have a wrapped chipboard tutorial on my YouTube channel that you can see where I do this. And for this, I've also done some fussy cutting of the holly and just kind of bent that a little bit, done some scoring in the middle of the leaves to make it stand out a little. And this is one of the cutaways from, or excuse me, cut aparts from the paper itself. And I've used the gold Graphic 45 washi, glitter washi tape around the edge of my wrapped chipboard. I've used the triumphant red ribbon, the ribbed one, for my closure, as well as a bow on the spine. This is a piece of the chipboard, and I used a couple brads from my stash, as you can see here, some more chipboards, and then on the back, I added some fussy cuts. So let's just walk through the album really quickly, and I will show you its finished look. So we have our pocket page here using one of the cut-aparts. I added a sticker of the stamps from the sticker collection on the top here, and we have our photo mats with our border strips on the front and back. Here, for our little flaps, I've added two of these. I just love the clocks in this collection. They're so pretty. I've cut out a couple of those, one in the medium size and one in the small, and those are disguising my magnets so that helps hold our little flap here closed. And there's a couple little pieces in there. There's from the cut aparts from the paper. These came from, I do believe, the this one is from the 12 by 12. This is from the 8 by 8. And then this is our fold open page with the doors. I added some green borders as well as one of the border strips I cut down to fit. And this opens like so. And we have our magnet closures and a couple of photo mats here that will slide out. Whether the doors are open or not, you can slide these in and out. And these are just a heavyweight ivory cardstock. I do believe it's 85 pounds. And I did not embellish these yet. These are just more for show. These are 5 by 7, and the corners were rounded using a corner rounding tool. Then we have our page, so this is page 3, which is our first pocket page, and we have a fun photo mat that slides in there. And I will tell you, the photo mat done with Kraft cardstock is a 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, and then our decorative papers are 5 by 7. And I just used one of the stickers here on a tab to make that easier to pull out from the pocket. Page 4, of course, I added a couple more stickers here. We did this in the tutorial, but here I added a couple of the stickers and another one of the, this is another cut apart stamp. Again, I will show you, I use Fisker's mini pinking shears on my stamp cut aparts so that I keep the integrity of that stamp look. For this, I added a little bit more embellishing. I did a green strip of paper with one of the cut aparts here, and our two little bifold cards using, again, the cut aparts. Here I added a green strip of paper and a couple more of those fun clocks, and we have our photo mats inside there. This is a couple of the stamps cut from the paper, as well as a fussy cut piece of the holly and berries. And you have that inside. Here is a fun one. We have a couple more cut aparts, and I tried to utilize this entire collection. Everything that I had available to me in this collection, I used parts of. That is my task. This project was to show how you can really use a lot of things that come with a collection. And if you were doing this album in one of the collections that comes with ephemera, you can use that in place of fussy cuts. If you're not a fussy cutter like I am, you can use those. They give you a lot of options there. And where I have used cut aparts from the paper, you can also use the journaling cards. So here, this is just 2 1/4 by, it's 2 7/8, and that holds this fun little card. You got one of those little fun photo booth photos in there. And then here we have a bifold that opens this way, and I put another cut apart with the journaling on the inside, and that slides in like so. And we have our normal photo mat. This is a large one, and it measures with the Kraft cardstock 5 1/4 by 7 1/4, and then our other paper, our decorative paper here, is 5 by 7, and on the back we have that ivory heavy cardstock 5 by 7, and I added a little strip of scrap of the stripes that I had left over to coincide with this. Now there's a belly band here that I used a border strip for, and if you pull up this is what I ended up doing with this, is I folded it so that it was double, and then it can pull out like so. So you could hide some more pictures in there, and then just pull that up and tuck it under your border strip, and we add our photo mat and these two fun things. And this can also go on here like so if you prefer, and I like that. Then I added another sticker. This coincides with the little photo over here of the little child at Christmas with the Christmas tree. And then of course our cut aparts here, and this is our second pocket page, which has another photo mat just like the other. Here I added these two fun pieces. One is done in green paper. I can tell you that this is the green paper. I had to cut this down really meticulously for this card to fit. So this one is 3 1/8 by 4 1/8, and then the card was added, and then the background of this one is the red paper. And these are just fun. These just are adhered, as you can see, like that, so that you can still slide this in. I added a couple of stickers here to my photo mats. And then this page, page 12, again, is our mirrored of page 1. And it's done the same way with the cut aparts and those lovely clocks that hide our magnets. So there's a magnet under here and a magnet under here. And I backed this one with green paper. And then I have one of the fussy cut berry leaves, holly berry there. Again with the sticker to mimic the front, and our journaling card, or excuse me, our photo mat. And on the back, there's that beautiful clock pattern again. And the ribbon closure, I will tell you, if you don't already know how to do one of these, the ribbon is simply slipped underneath. It is adhered between the red mat and the Twas the Night Before Twas the Night Before Christmas paper right there. And that is how I did that. So that is the album, complete in its entirety and embellished. I hope that you have enjoyed watching this tutorial, and I hope that you have a wonderful, wonderful holiday season. Happy paper crafting.